Jenny Winters from the Lake County Regional Office of Education, and today I'm going to tell you about the new standards that Illinois has adopted for third grade students in the area of mathematics. Illinois is one of many states in this nation who have adopted these very same standards, and teachers all across the country are working hard to transition to these new expectations. This is a graphic of the language of the third grade standards. The words that appear largest are the words that appear most often in the standards. So you can tell that our third graders are going to study area, fractions, multiplication, numbers, quite a bit because these words were mentioned so many times. These are the four critical topics for third grade: multiplication and division, fractions, area, and properties of two-dimensional shapes. These topics are going to translate into units of study for our children. The first of the units for third grade is three-digit addition and subtraction. Although this was not mentioned in the critical topics for third grade, it really represents the culmination of study from kindergarten through second grade. By the end of second grade, our children are expected to add and subtract two-digit numbers fluently. So really, this is just ramping it up to include three-digit numbers for third graders. But also included in this unit of study is work with elapsed time. Our third graders are going to be expected to apply their knowledge of addition and subtraction to solve problems involving elapsed time. Another unit of study for our third graders is geometry, and this really has two aspects to it. One aspect is that they will learn all the different ways of sorting quadrilaterals. They'll understand the hierarchy of classification and all the different characteristics of these figures. Then they're going to study rectangles in particular in a study of area. That's the second dimension of this unit. And that is going to lead us into our third unit, which is multiplication and division. This is the big topic for third graders. By the end of third grade, our children will be expected to memorize their multiplication and division facts and know them fluently. But not just have them memorized and know them, but to be able to apply them and understand them and interpret them. So it's a deeper level of expectation than what we used to have. Their final unit of study is fractions. And really this is helping our third graders to understand the value of a fraction. You're going to hear your child come home talking about unit fractions. We want them to understand that the fraction 3/4 is really 3 1/4 pieces to help them understand how much that 3/4 is really worth. And they're going to use tools like these fraction towers to help them develop that deep understanding. They may use these, they may use visual models like bar models. There are all sorts of ways that they're going to be able to represent their understanding of fractions and all these other ideas. So how are they going to develop this deep level of understanding? Well, we're going to ask them to represent their understanding in many ways. One of those ways is using such manipulative models. The fraction equivalency towers, they may use fraction pieces that are rectangular or circular in nature. They may use things like these angle legs where they can build and construct four-sided figures to help them sort and classify. They may use things like these digi-blocks or base 10 blocks to help them with their three-digit addition and subtraction and just to understand the value of those multi-digit numbers. You'll definitely see these color tiles because no third grade classroom should be complete without color tiles. They're going to help us greatly with our study of multiplication, division, and area. I'm hoping that you'll have some dominoes at home and your dice games and card games where you'll be able to build your child's fluency with multiplication, division, and also that addition and subtraction. All of these tools are going to help us move into the next representation, which is pictures. We want our students to be able to make pictures and analyze pictures so that they can translate between these manipulative models and pictures, and then also use written symbols to represent what they're working on. So we'll be recording equations for the different representations that they're building. Another important aspect of learning deeply is the use of our language. We want our children to be reading, writing, speaking, and listening about these math topics. The communication is very critical. And third graders have been historically working on writing about their thinking because we've been working on extended response. But now the emphasis is also going to include that they talk about it quite a bit. We want them to listen to each other and be able to think about whether they agree or disagree with each other's conclusions. And finally, we expect our third graders to apply all of these concepts to real-world applications because that's really the purpose in studying it in the first place. You'll see your child building and representing to solve word problems and real-life context to help make the math come alive and be practical for them. I hope you are as excited about the depth of understanding your child will develop with these new standards as I am. And I'm sure your child's teacher is anxious to make this transition as